Let's go on Facebook. It's got a few minutes. I've been getting throughout the day and part of last night getting some very disturbing news here about the tyrants in El Paso, Texas. That's including the communist mayor Dee Margos. I can say that because he's not a Republican, he's not a conservative, he's a socialist. He's proven so with all of his efforts to keep El Paso shut down and violate the Constitution for false security. And we all know what Benjamin Franklin famously said: when those who are willing to compromise temporary safety, or their liberty for temporary security, deserve neither security nor liberty. Okay, I don't listen to any of this COVID-19 stuff because it's unconstitutional. Nothing in the federal law of the United States Constitution. That's the ultimate de facto law of the land. Each state, each territory, each county, city, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land as outlined in the Supremacy Clause, which was established by Marbury v. Madison in 1803. No law shall be repugnant to the U.S. Constitution. And as it says, and I quote, all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. And that's Chief Justice Marbury of the United States Supreme Court in 1803. Every law consistent with the Constitution will have been made in pursuance of the powers granted to it. Every usurpation of the law repugnant to it cannot have been made in pursuance of its powers, thus rendering it all null and void. Now, El Paso, KFOX 14 News on October the 8th had put out a news article saying to the effect, and I quote, El Pasoans who fail to comply with quarantine orders may get visits from law enforcement. And that's coming from Dee Margos and apparently the new city of El Paso medical, quote, authority that we did not vote in. We did not have any say, just someone he gave a job to as the city manager. We need to look at this, okay? You need to know what isolation is and what quarantine is, okay? Now with that, just so you have it, so you know, I have the definitions right here. Okay? I'll read it. All right? Isolation separates sick people with a contagious disease from people who are not sick. That's what's supposed to be happening, okay? You get COVID testing. If it's a legitimate test, not like these 50 tests for every one person that they do, you're supposed to separate them, okay? Quarantine separates and restricts the movement of people. Okay? I'm not sick. You can't quarantine me. That violates the United States Constitution, Fifth Amendment. Everyone thinks the Fifth Amendment is the right to not self-incriminate, but it also has a clause called the Freedom of Movement Clause. It's also covered under the Commerce Clause. Okay? With that, and I'll tell you that right here. I did my due diligence. Got my stuff. Okay? An excerpt from the Fifth Amendment, Freedom of Movement Clause. Okay? This is where it goes. The right to travel domestically under federal law. The right of Americans to travel interstate in the United States has never been substantially judicially questioned or limited. In 1941, the court declared unconstitutional California's restriction upon the migration of the so-called, quote, Okies, whose travels are famously documented in the Grapes of Wrath. Justice Douglas referred to the right of the freedom of movement as the right of national citizenship, and the rights of the migrants were upheld under the Commerce Clause. Okay? Privileges and Immunities Clause protects the rights of U.S. citizens who are each also citizens of a state against discriminatory treatment under the law of a different state. Simple, fair enough. Because I'm a United States citizen, you can't stop my progress from Texas into New Mexico because I'm not a New Mexico resident. So these roadblocks that they were setting up are in fact illegal, just like much as they did during Hurricane Katrina when they were stopping the governor of New Orleans and the mayor of, or the governor of Louisiana and the mayor of New Orleans were stopping with the National Guard and the state police and the New Orleans police, stopping people trying to flee the disaster zone to neighboring Jefferson Parish, where they were welcomed with arms wide open for food, water, shelter, but they were pinned and forced to FEMA camps to die and be raped, murdered, victimized, and sick. So, Mayor Dee Margos, I'll explain this right now. He has no power whatsoever. The mayor of El Paso is like the Queen of England. They have no authority. This right here is an excerpt okay, that I printed up, and I've covered this many times before. It's from the City of El Paso Charter. founding charter. Chapter 4 is entitled Powers and Duties of the Mayor. Section 4.1, Powers of the Mayor. This is verbatim from the City of El Paso website, just so you want to look it up so you know I'm not BSing. www.elpasoTexas.gov/mayor/powers-and-duties-of-the-mayor. Okay? So now, the mayor shall be recognized as the head of the city government, and I quote, for all ceremonial purposes, and by the governor for purposes of military law. That's his only responsibility. That's the only thing he has power to do. Okay? But shall have no administrative duties, which means he can't enact anything. Okay? And no administrative duties except as may be specifically provided in this charter. This charter makes nothing for him. Okay? The mayor shall be a member and preside over the city council, having the powers to propose legislation. That's proposed. That's in, hey, city council, can you make this happen? Not, hey, you're going to, because coronavirus is here, you're going to stay at home because I said so, because it's for the greater good, you know, for my socialist mentality as Dee Margos is, okay? So, other notes on here. They perform duties pursuant to federal and state law. There is no federal law for quarantine, nor state of Texas statute for quarantine, forced quarantine, and deliberate violations of the United States Constitution, which again I reference the Supremacy Clause and Marbury v. Madison of 1803, establishing that no law shall be passed that are repugnant to the Constitution. Any usurpation of those laws and those rights would make such law null and void. Okay? That's why we also have due process. If you force me to quarantine because you're afraid that people will get sick, even though I am not sick or you have no proof that I'm sick, and you tell me that I can't leave, I can't do anything, you're violating my rights under the Fifth Amendment, the Freedom of Movement Clause, and the Commerce Clause. Okay? All right. Let's see. Section 4.2, Duties of the Mayor. Under the authority of the council, and I quote, the mayor shall sign all lawful acts of the council. There was no lawful acts of the city council put forth. We, again, as the body of the people of El Paso, did not vote on any amendments to our laws that says, yes, Mayor, you can take my rights and make me unwillingly usurp my rights and my constitutional protections for your paranoid fear. Okay, your fear-mongering, your socio-Marxist liberal agenda. Okay, because we all know that Dee Margos is not a Republican. Okay, he's an embedded implant. Okay, and I could say this: I'm a Republican. I'd have no problem saying it. I don't like you, Dee Margos. You're a turncoat, just like our quote governor is now. Okay, you are a rhino, as Donald Trump has said, and I hope this video gets out to him because. You know, I'm not afraid of them. Send the police. I don't care. You know, the law is on my side, buddy. I'm not scared. Okay? Laws, acts of council, and as such, ordinances, resolution, conveyances. Okay? Ordinances, resolutions, conveyances. All right? You can't sign your own decree and ordinance. You can't. Okay? Let's see. The mayor shall have the sole authority, which that means the only thing he can do, to appoint and remove the mayor's executive secretary and executive assistants. Oh, by the way, the mayor, part of his powers is to veto legislation except any for city council action that removes the city manager. So that means we're stuck with a moron city manager who's raping and pillaging our taxes away for his buddies. The mayor can't remove him, which in every other city they can, because that's their job, to fix our government, a broken government. El Paso seems to think that, no, we need the city manager to tell our mayor, our elected official, because we know the city manager is not an elected official. He's a job that's given by corrupted people, like the Fosters and the Hunts. Okay? Now, one of the things here, too, the baseline then within the Fifth Amendment, okay, the baseline then is the freedom of movement within and between states is constitutionally protected. Okay, that means within the state of Texas, in the city and county of El Paso, I can move about as well as I damn well want, whether or not COVID's going on, because you can't lawfully tell me that I have to stay at home because I might get sick or people may get sick. My responsibility is my health, not the government's, okay? I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, as you see. I helped depose a tyrant overseas, not to come home and face tyranny in my own country. That's why I always say, sic semper tyrannis, and thus to the tyrants. You want to mess with freedom, you want to mess with liberty, don't complain when us patriots put a boot in your ass and fight for what's constitutionally sound, because, for 240 plus years it was not a problem. Now that, you liberals and socio-Marxists can't, you don't like the fact that America is being taken care of and not being sold out anymore. You don't like that. We don't care because there's more of us than there are of you. Okay? So, Dee Margos, go screw yourself. You have no authority that you think you do. There's this little thing called due process of law. You taking away my rights, I have to have done something illegal. Me not listening to unlawful mandates, because a mandate's not a law, an ordinance is not a law, a decree is not a law. The United States Constitution is the law, as in fact the Supremacy Clause was specifically there says, again, as in Marbury versus Madison 1803, that the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Each state can pass its laws, but they cannot usurp the rights of the people under the Constitution. They cannot violate their rights. Isolation is for the sick, those that have tested positive. Quarantine is the masses, and you don't have the right to quarantine people because you don't have probable cause, because you can't force testing. You cannot force testing on the people, because that's unconstitutional. We have a free society. We don't do what we're told. We do what we want. Okay, it's free will. God gave us free will as well. A mayor who has no authority because he has to ask for permission to do things all the time, and then, as I quote, under the powers and duties of the mayor under the City of El Paso Charter, Section 4.1, Powers of the Mayor, where his only function is to serve for ceremonial purposes and by the governor for purposes of military law. That'll never happen because Dee Margos is incompetent. I mean, this coming from a guy who says you have to social distance, you have to stay away from people, you have to wear your mask, but it's pictured, right after passing this illegal stuff, is seen at a country club. Oh, by the way, I'm not essential, but yet you are, because you want to go get out with your wife and have a good old time with your buddies and your chums at a country club. Yeah. That's called corruption, hypocrisy, and tyranny, buddy. I can't wait till you're voted out. I don't like Lisa, and I sure as hell don't like you, Dee Margos. We're better with no mayor because, again, you have no power. I mean, you have to ask permission to do anything. You can't remove the most corrupt position that's in there that was put in by Democrats to begin with anyway. So your whole thing that was on K-Fox on October the 8th, El Pasoans who fail to comply with quarantine, quote, orders may get visits from law enforcement. Please come see me, because I'll be quick to give them the finger and tell them to, F off, because, I support and I back the blue. I love our police, despite my many run-ins with corrupt ones that pulled me over for things that weren't allowed to be pulled over for. And I proved that when I, went to court, and yeah, still here. No ticket, no fines, no fees. Yeah. Yeah. Know the law, guys. You know the Constitution. I recommend you get yourself a pocket Constitution. Get you two of them. Keep one on you at all times. Keep one in your vehicle at all times. It's going to come in handy on vehicle stops, these Border Patrol checkpoints inside the country, inside the state of Texas, because it's sad that you can't leave the state of Texas east or west without going through a checkpoint and basically doing what the Nazis did. Hey, let me see your citizenship. And we all know what happened. They got a shiny gold star and got on a train. Okay? We're in a very imperative time that we need to vote all the tyrants out. Okay? The only good Democrat is no Democrat. The only good rhino is no rhino. Okay? And I don't care if I catch hell for this because I... So, No, study the Constitution. Marbury versus Madison in 1803, that established the supremacy clause. I implore you to look up the actual definitions of quarantine versus isolation, how they're applied. Look up the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. It's not just your right to not incriminate yourself, or I plead the Fifth, as they say. There's more to it. The freedom of movement and the Commerce Clause. Understand, study, and know the El Paso City Charter, more specifically Section 4 or Chapter 4, Section 4.1 under Powers and Duties of the Mayor, which 4.1 is Powers of the Mayor, 4.2 is Duties of the Mayor. That explains what his purpose is, his function, his authority. Anything he does outside of that, you don't have to listen to him, okay? So also know your Fourth Amendment rights. You know the rights of due process of law, okay? That's why it's very imperative that, you know this stuff. I get attacked all the time by the left and by all kinds of liberals because I'm a dangerous threat because I know the law, I know the Constitution, I know what's legally and morally and ethically right. I fought, overseas to stop what the crap's going on here, and I will keep doing it as an oath keeper. I took an oath. Just because I've been out of the military for 10 years does not make my oath null and void. I will defend it and hold on to it for dear life because, my daughter has a future. And I would like to think that her future is going to be a lot better than the crap we're going through now. With that being said, guys, Jeff Alley, I see you watching. Thank you for tuning in. Much luck and success for your campaign and re-election. We'll be pulling for you. We'll be rooting for you. Also, guys, come out this Saturday, October the 10th at 11 o'clock at Album or Eastwood Park. We're going to be meeting at 11, doing a little meet and greet, helping each other set up our vehicles for the Trump, our second Trump train. We're going to go ahead and leave about 12:30 is what we're planning on. I have about 100 Trump signs left. I have some bumper stickers. If you want a Trump sign, come see me. We just need to, just sign you in so that way we can get some more signs. They're going out like hotcakes, guys. We can't hold on to them as soon as we get them. We had like a pallet of 1,000 of them a couple weeks ago, and now we're down to like 4 or 5 boxes left at the GOP. So thank you for your support. We need to get we need to vote red. We need to flip El Paso. We need to keep Texas red, and then we need to keep, our government red. We're in a fight for the soul and salvation of America. If it falls to the socio-Marxist, all games are off. We are at civil war. Sadly, that's what it's going to be down to. Right versus wrong, evil versus good. God bless, guys. Stay safe. Again, remember that nothing that Dee Margos or the corrupt Samaniego can do, because remember, Samaniego was the day that he put the week that he put his stay at home, no parties and all. His own kid had a house party. Come on now. And then he said, look past this, just forget about it, and just let's move on. And that's corruption 101 right there. That is a page out of Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, with a lot of people like Veronica Escobar has been employing. Blame others for what you yourself are doing. That's textbook. Okay. Let's win back our country. Let's save our republic, not for us, but for our children, our grandchildren, guys. There's a reason why our country is free. People like me, people like Conservative Anthony, all you patriots out there, we're not going quietly, okay? I lived my life. I can leave this earth knowing that I made an impact, and I'm gonna go out fighting. I'm pro-life, pro-Trump, pro-Second Amendment. Most importantly, I'm pro-American way of life, the way our founding fathers intended it and had written it, okay? These unlawful mask mandates. It's been proven that masks don't make you safe because you're basically breathing in, your own germs, and your masks aren't. The masks that they tell you, the surgical masks, aren't even safe. Okay, we're in a pandemic, or a plandemic as we call it. the only legitimate thing that's going to save you is a military-grade CBRN or NBC. Okay, that's chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear, biological, and chemical mask with a filter, a charcoal reinforced filter, as we had in the military. Okay, because those things are rated for radiation, chemical attacks, and I've trained with them countlessly in Korea, and all over. Okay. A little piece of paper with 2-ply paper is not going to help keep you safe. And in fact, it's only meant if you are sick. Okay? You're sick, you put it on. Okay? Other than that, you're just breathing in your own germs that you have. You can get all kinds of mold and fungus growing in there. You're just breathing it back in. Asphyxiation. You're breathing in your own carbon monoxide. So how's that even safe? Okay? I've been, subject to violations of federal law and medical malpractice because I have a legitimate medical exemption, and I've been denied medical treatment that was paid for by the taxpayer through the VA for a civilian, and they trespassed me because I told them I had a legitimate medical exemption. Even though they knew in advance and I had the paperwork, they still called the police and trespassed me. So they basically refused service, and I'm still in pain from it, but I'm not wearing a mask out of principle. I don't do what I'm told. I do what I want because that's America. Okay? We have the right to do what we want. But you, at the same token, you got to, you do what you want. You're willing to pay the consequences. However, there were no legal consequences with what I did because I was well within my constitutional rights. All right, guys? So just keep holding on to that. Keep fighting a good fight. I'm always here for you. Shout out, text message, email, Facebook, whatever. Make this go viral, guys. Get this out. It's only going to get worse as we get closer to the election, and then, God willingly, Trump wins. It's going to get worse because they're going to try to find another type of thing to blame on him. So we got to fight for our republic, guys. I'm in it. I'm on the front lines as a leader of Oath Keepers. We're out here. We're protected. We're doing our job as a veteran, combat disabled veteran. I'm going to keep fighting because that's my oath. It does not expire. Okay, these colors do not run. I said enough, guys. Again, just go ahead and research it. The Supremacy Clause, Marbury versus Madison, 1803. Looking at that. Looking at the Fifth Amendment, Freedom of Movement Clause, the Commerce Clause, where they can't force you to quarantine because that violates your freedom of movement. Look into the Chapter 4 of the El Paso City Charter of the Rights and Responsibilities of the Mayor, Section 4.1, 4.2, proving that Mayor Dee Margos has no authority to do any of this stuff he's been doing. Okay? We're also looking to due process, the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. All right? So stay safe. God bless, guys. Get this out. Share it. Like it. Comment. I'm going to go ahead and put it on Facebook or my YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be doing more videos because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate mail, which I welcome because I love melting snowflakes and Karens. Okay? I love making people educated, even though they're ignorant and hell-bound on their socio-Marxist ways, thinking that they know the law, as opposed to someone who's worked in federal law enforcement, who's worked in federal government, all levels, studied the law. I'm not a moron. I have 4 degrees, okay, and they all cover different types of constitutional law. All right, guys. So get this out. I got to get going. I'll try to do another one maybe tomorrow after the Trump rally. But don't forget, this Saturday, Album Park or Eastwood Park, whichever you want to call it, 11 o'clock meetup, 12:30 we're leaving. Trump train, Conservative Anthony, myself. I got 100 Trump signs to give out. They're like the last group that I have from the GOP. I have some bumper stickers also to hand out to you. Kathy, thank you. Catherine, thanks for coming on. And again, Jeff Alley, thank you for tuning in. Folks, vote for Jeff Alley. He's going to be on the ballot. Irene Armendariz Jackson for Congress, Congressional District 16. Obviously, voters for Trump. Okay, Bethany Hatch, Texas State Senate. All right, guys. Thank you for smashing that like button. Get the word out. We're not going to take this crap anymore, guys. El Paso's going to start rising up. We're going to take back our city, our county, our state, and our country. I'm just one person. I'm willing to fight alone if I have to, because I know the law, I know the Constitution. I've been through far worse than what Dee Margos thinks he can throw at us. I'm not scared. I welcome his challenge because I want to see him send police to my house, because I will tell you right now, I refuse any quarantine, social distance, mask mandates. Okay? You show me an amendment to the United States Constitution that was signed into federal law, then maybe we'll talk. Okay? So stay safe. God bless. 6 separate Tyrannus, guys.